Alright guys, so I'm recording this intro after I made my picks, and to be honest, most of this video is talking about the whole season as a whole. Of course, I did make my predictions, I picked a team and I gave my reasoning why, but most of the video is about me explaining each team, what position they're in, and how they're going to do this season. So, just a quick heads up, but we're back on the channel guys. It's been a really long time, I think it's been like 3 months, but the NFL season is back, the content is coming back as well. I'm thinking of maybe doing this every week, so comment down below if you would enjoy that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. Let's kick things off with Thursday Night Football. We got the Bills versus the Rams. This is going to be an amazing matchup. The Bills are arguably the best team in the AFC, and the Rams are arguably the best team in the NFC. On paper, these two teams are dead even. Their defenses are two of the most talented in the NFL. They both have two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and the Bills with Stephon Diggs and the Rams with Cooper Kupp, their receiving cores are absolutely amazing as well. So all that being said, these two teams, as I said, are dead even. So what is going to be the determining factor? I think whichever team forces the most turnovers is going to be the winner, along with whichever quarterback plays better. We all know that both of these quarterbacks are at the top of the NFL, but personally, I think Josh Allen's going to play better. I think he's just more of a playmaker. You can argue about which one's a better straight-up passer, but I think Josh Allen is more of a playmaker, and I think he's going to make the plays in Week 1 in order to get the dub against the Rams. Alright, let's move on here. So I guess from now on, we'll just go left to right. I wanted to start with the first game of the season, but from now, I guess we'll just go left to right. So, Colts versus Texans. This game is a little bit different than the first game we talked about. These two teams on paper are not even close. The Colts have the better quarterback, the better running back, arguably the better receiving core, the better offensive line, and the better defense. So, of course, the Colts are going to win, right? Well, you got to think about this like this, okay? Not every team that's better on paper is going to win. And I do think that the Texans are easily the worst team in this matchup. The Colts have so many playmakers. They got Matt Ryan now. Of course, Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line is going to be just as good as they were last year. Maybe a little bit worse, but they'll be fine. And then that defense is 10 times better than the Texans defense. But I don't know. I think this is just going to be one of those games. I have a gut feeling that the Texans are just going to steal this one. You could come back after Week 1. If I'm correct, I'm a genius. If I'm wrong, then you'll look at me like I'm stupid, because that would be a stupid pick if I'm wrong. So let's move on here. Steelers versus Bengals. At this point, I don't even know who the Steelers starting quarterback's going to be. I'm pretty sure reports implied that it's going to be Mitchell Trubisky. I don't trust him. Literally, the Bengals have one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the NFL. Last year, they had no offensive line and somehow made it to the Super Bowl. This year, upgraded offensive line. Joe Burrow is going to be back better than ever. That receiving core is amazing, and they got Joe Mixon in the backfield. I don't think there's anybody who's picking the Steelers over the Bengals here. Alright, next we got the Ravens and the Jets. So, of course, the Ravens are the better team, and I'm not going to do what I did with the Colts and Texans, and this time I'm actually going to pick the better team. So, I think the Ravens are going to win that one. Lamar Jackson, I think this year is going to be an MVP candidate. Yes, I said it, but yeah, I think that the Ravens are going to easily beat the Jets. Alright, next we got the Patriots and the Dolphins. This one is interesting. Division matchups are always interesting in Week 1 because there's so many question marks, especially with these two teams. Are the Patriots going to match what they did last year? And then with the Dolphins, is Tyreek Hill going to be that guy that he was for Kansas City? Probably not, but I'm still going to pick the Dolphins here. I think they are the better team on paper for sure. But it's interesting, Bill Belichick, he can always coach his team to a win no matter what the scenario is. So it'll be interesting, but I'm going to give that one to the Dolphins. This one, this is tough. Look, again, I think the Chargers are the better team. I think the Chargers are going to do better throughout the season. But again, divisional matchups are so hard to predict. I'm going to give that to the Chargers. Do I really need to talk about this for too long? I don't think many of you guys are interested unless you're fans of either of these teams. But I'm just going to give this one to Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a good season this year. I think Washington is not going to have a good season this year. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. All right, Browns versus Panthers. If the Panthers don't win, this would be embarrassing. This is Baker Mayfield's revenge game. He has to win. If not, it would be funny, but it would be like almost disappointing. Come on, Baker. You got to pull this one out. He will do anything in his power to win this game. Baker is a true competitor, guys. Even though you can say anything about his game, he's turnover prone. You can say all this and that, but he's a competitor, and I think he's not going to let the Browns beat him. Okay, so I'm going to give this one to the Panthers. It'll be so cool to see Baker Mayfield on the field. Okay, let's just move on before I say something stupid. Chiefs versus Cardinals. I'm going to give this to the Chiefs. I really just don't trust the Cardinals. I don't know how I feel about Kyler Murray. Deshaun Watson suspended. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully they make a playoff run, but yeah, let's give this one to the Chiefs. I think this one's fairly obvious. I think the Chiefs are going to be just fine. A lot of people have been sleeping on them because Tyreek Hill's gone. Patrick Mahomes is not going to be nearly as good as he was last year. Yeah, that's not true. He's going to be fine, okay? I'm telling you, the Chiefs are going to be good. And we'll see that from week 1. Last year they struggled early in the season, but this year they're going to be fine from week 1. All right, Giants versus Texans. The Titans, I got to give this to the Titans. Derrick Henry is back and healthy. Of course, he was back in the playoffs, but he clearly wasn't the same player that he was. So this one, I got to give to the Titans. Daniel Jones, this is literally his last chance this season. Hopefully he does all right, man. I mean, this video, honestly, is more just about, like, this whole season. Like, what do I expect from these teams rather than just week 1? Because most of these games, like this one, is super obvious. Of course I'm giving this to the Broncos. This is also Russell Wilson's revenge game. I did not realize that there were a few revenge games on the schedule. So, hey, it'll be interesting. Imagine the Dolphins played the Chiefs. That would, like, add to, like, all the revenge games we have. But, yeah, I got to give this one to the Broncos. Whichever team has Drew Lock is probably going to lose. So we'll just leave it at that. All right, 49ers versus Bears. This one's got to go to the 49ers. The battle of two sophomore quarterbacks. Last year, Justin Fields, when he played, he was definitely iffy. Trey Lance, I think, has so much potential. He could pull off a season similar to, like, Patrick Mahomes, a second-year, like, dominant season. I don't know. I mean, maybe not to that level, but, I think he'll definitely have a good season, and I think it'll show from week 1. So I got to give that to the Niners. Of course, they have their same quarterback with, like, Deebo Samuel and everybody, but yeah. All right. Eagles versus Lions. I'm going to give this to the Eagles. There's not much explaining to do about that one. Do I trust Jared Goff or Jalen Hurts? Right now, with the core that they have, I trust the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. So I'm going to give that to the Eagles. Saints versus Falcons. Yeah, it's just such a weird matchup. Like, there's so many question marks this season. Like, for the Saints, is Jameis Winston going to be the same as he was early last year? Because last season, early in the season, Jameis Winston was playing great for his standards, of course. And the Falcons, it's just so weird. Their situation's weird. And then another thing about the Saints, is Michael Thomas going to be that guy? Because personally, I don't think so. But I guess I'll give it to the Saints. I don't know. This is so weird. All right, Packers versus Vikings. Now, going back to what I said earlier, the better team on paper will not always win. The Packers are the better team on paper. They have the better... are they? Actually, now that I think about it, are they the better team on paper? Their quarterback's better. Their receiving core is a lot worse. Running backs, it's debatable. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon versus Dalvin Cook. You can debate that. I don't know. Maybe the Packers aren't the better team on paper. But, of course, the better team on paper is probably the team that has the back-to-back MVP. So, yes, the Packers, I bet a lot of people are picking them. But I'm going to go with the Vikings. I feel like in week 1, the Vikings are going to come out and play amazing. Their receiving core is one of the best in the NFL, in my opinion. Justin Jefferson and an aging Adam Thielen, who's not quite in his prime anymore. Those days are definitely behind him, but he'll still be probably one of the better number 2 receivers in the NFL. So, yeah, I'm giving this one to the Vikings. All right, last game here. We got the Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. Pretty sure they played week 1 of last year as well. And, of course, we know what happened in that game. Dak, coming off of an injury, played one of the best games I've ever seen from him. And they still lost. This year, look, I think the Buccaneers are going to be better this season than the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, he's gonna be good, but he's never gonna lead you to a Super Bowl. They're just gonna be an above average to good team. Like, that's not gonna do it for them. This season's gonna be super weird for the Cowboys. It feels like it might just be a copy and paste of what happened last year. The Cowboys are always just such an interesting team. And the Buccaneers are obviously better. I don't know, just a gut feeling. I'm giving this to the Cowboys. Yes, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I don't think the Cowboys are going to go 12-5 and be the number one team in the NFC. So I'm not super biased. But in week 1, I'm going to give it to them. Not sure for what reason, but I just have that gut feeling. And when your gut tells you something, I think it's right to listen to it. So we're going to give that to the Cowboys. But that's going to do it for this one. A lot of questionable picks, in my opinion. The Vikings, the Cowboys, the Texans. A lot of questionable picks. You can debate about the Bills and Rams, but yeah, a lot of interesting ones here. Week 1 is going to be amazing. I cannot wait. Comment down below what you think about these predictions. I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me, but I'm ready for it. All right, that's going to do it for this one. Peace out, everybody.